virtually, or you actually made it here in person, thank you for being here. I want to just say a special welcome to our honorary member, Fletcher McCusker, who's not here today. Fletcher is puny. Well, hopefully he doesn't have COVID or something, but he's not going to be here. And the rest of our friends at Rio Nuevo. And happy birthday to our pal Doc Krett. Before we get started, I'd like to ask just really quickly for a short moment of silence for our friends in Ukraine that are fighting for democracy. Thank you. I'm going to ask Charlotte Harris to come up and give you a quick update on where we are with our effort, the Foundation's effort on the match. If you don't know, she joined our club in 2000, November, in classification, education, administrative, secondary. She's a U of A grad. She knows a little bit about Sal Point, and she was our club's 87th president in 2008 and 2009. Charlotte.
As announced last month, Rotary has a process to accept donations that will benefit individuals directly impacted from the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. As the chart on the screen indicates, this is being done through the Rotary International Foundation, as represented on the left, which will provide Rotary districts that are impacted with refugee support. There are currently 5 Rotary districts in the Ukraine and Poland areas that have been identified for assistance to provide such items as water, food, shelter, medicine, and clothing. More Rotary districts are being identified and will be identified such as in Germany and other countries accepting refugees. Your donation to this effort does get credited towards your next Paul Harris Fellow. Checks are being accepted by our club and will be submitted with appropriate paperwork, or you can donate online. However, these donations need to be received by the Rotary International Foundation by April 30th, and I would suggest submitting donations by mid-April to assure they're processed in time to benefit Ukraine. Shelterbox is also listed on the right of the screen and is a partner of Rotary for disaster relief. And those familiar with Shelterbox know how incredible they are with a tent, sleeping bags, cooking equipment, etc. Donations can be made directly to Shelterbox. Shelterbox donations do not provide Paul Harris Fellow credit. As announced at our last club meeting, both our club board and our club foundation board, as represented on the screen at the top, have approved a match for Rotary International Foundation donations up to a total of $15,000. Remember, your portion, your donation, earns you Paul Harris Fellow credits, not the match. If you make a donation online, we'd like to know about that too. So it is in gratitude and appreciation that I announce that 27 of our fellow Rotarians have donated to date $15,500. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And thank you to those who have contributed to this significant need. And thank you to all for this consideration.
Charlotte, thanks you. If you'd indulge with me for just another second, I'd ask Dr. John Wong to come up. We have another moment of silence that we need to have in memory of a former member of our club. I think you know John joined us back in February of '83. I thought John had been downtown before we made the move to the DoubleTree, only to find out he missed it by a couple of months way back in the day. But anyway, John's classification is medical and healthcare orthopedic. He used to be with Tucson Orthopedic Institute. He's still emeritus over there, and as I'm sure you know, he's a graduate of... Thank you. I knew you guys would probably get that. And he was our 85th club president back in 2006 and 7. John.
Thank you, Mark. This is about Lee Schultz. Lee was a member of our club from 1971 until a couple of years ago. Dr. Martin Lee Schultz. He was born in Tucson in 1935. He went to the University of Arizona, got his bachelor's degree, then he went to Tulane Medical School in New Orleans, did an internship there. Then he went in the Air Force and served 2 years. This was before Vietnam. So he was stationed in California, came back to New Orleans and did his residency in surgery there. Then he came back to Tucson, joined his father, who was a surgeon, William G. Schultz. William Schultz had built an office on Country Club Road just north of Speedway. And that office was built in 1948. It was on the eastern edge of Tucson. I've known Lee since I arrived in Tucson in 1977, as we were both on staff at St. Mary's Hospital. We were also friends in the Centurions, which was a booster group for St. Mary's, and we were in the Breakfast Club of Tucson, as well as friends in Rotary Club of Tucson. In recent years, Lee's mobility has been limited because of what I perceived to be arthritis in his hips. But whenever I asked him how he was doing, he always smiled and said, "I'm getting better." And that was his attitude about life. He was a kind man, and truly, he was a gentleman. He took very good care of his patients with compassion and skill. And at the time he died, which was just about 10 days ago, after a very brief illness, he was still going to the office and seeing patients. His wife predeceased him by a few years. He's survived by 2 adult daughters and a brother. Services will be held at Northminster Presbyterian, but the date has not yet been determined. Thank you.
John, thanks for sharing that. Really sad for Lee's family. Move on to the pledge and the song. I'm going to ask Alan Shope to come up. Alan joined our club in January of this year. He was previously a member back in 2007 to 13. Classification service industry, dog boarding, Camp Bow Wow. He's a graduate of Purdue. And he's going to lead us in the pledge, and then afterwards, we'll, with our buddy Chris Dodge, who'll be playing Jen the piano, they'll lead us in the singing of "You're a Grand Old Flag." Alan.
Thank you, President Mark. All right. With me, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, in every place we wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true, in the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. Should all acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag. Thank you, Chris.
Alan, thank you. And now I'm going to ask Kim Adair to come up. She's going to do our inspiration. She joined our club in March of 21, Classification Community Services, Social Services. She's the CEO of the Arizona Bowl, and she is a proud graduate of NAU. Kim.
Go Jacks. Okay, go ahead and sit down. Growing up, I was a huge Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame football fan specifically, and a huge Lou Holtz fan. And many of you may know that Lou Holtz is an iconic football coach that led Notre Dame and their football team from 1986 to 1996. So for our inspiration today, I'd like to share with you some of Lou Holtz's rules for a wonderful life. And there's actually 3 rules. Rule number 1, do right. Just do the right thing, Lou says. We've all done dumb things and wish we hadn't done them, but you can't go through life with an albatross around your neck saying, I made a mistake. Say you're sorry, make amends, and move on. He added, I think it's wrong to be bitter. We all have a reason to be bitter. We've all had injustices done to us by society, by a spouse, by a friend, but you can't go through life being bitter. We're always blaming someone else. Wherever we are, it's because of the choices we make. Rule number 2, do everything to the best of your ability with the time allotted. Lou says, not everybody will be an All-American. Not everybody will be first team. Not everybody will be great. But everybody can do the best they can with the time allotted. And rule number 3, show people you care. I've seen this rule in action many times. Ask people, how can I help you? How can I assist you? And mean it. We should all have a deep down burning desire to help people, and as Rotarians, I know each of you does. If we're able to follow these 3 simple rules, we will not only lift ourselves up, but those around us as well. Thank you.
Kim, thank you. Please enjoy your lunch. We'll be back quicker than you can imagine. Okay, I guess I better get started. We will stay on time. I warned you I'd be back lickety split, didn't I? So I want to just call out a couple of people today. You know, last week we were dark, right? Weren't we dark? No lunch? I guess some people didn't get that message because we were quite busy. I always want to shout out to a couple of people. If you'd stand when I call your name, that'd be great. I'm going to start with our president-elect, Mr. Jacobs. Bruce, thank you for organizing what was by many accounts the best mixer we've ever had at Proof. Thank you. Don't sit down yet. Where's Dan Calm? Where'd Dan go? Dan, you're already standing. That's great. Organizing our Friday game with the Roadrunners. I saw you and Karen working hard on everything we were doing down at the Roadrunners, and also saw you down at 4th Avenue. Thank you. Please stay standing. Where's Dave White? He's not here. Okay, so Dave organized the car show ticket sales on 4th Avenue. By the way, guys, that's a 3-day gig. And then finally, Roger Harwell and Lynn DeVoe. Where are you? You guys stand up for just a great job with the beer sales on 4th Avenue. So for the rest, a big round of applause for them. Okay, for the rest of you that were looking for a reason to stand up, if you went to the mixer, please stand up. If you happen to make it to the hockey game, please stand up. If you made it down on 4th Avenue, either to buy a beer, buy a car show ticket, or to harass the troops or work it, please stand up. Thank you. If you're not standing, you got to ask yourself why. Thank you. Thank you guys for service above self. I'm going to ask our pal Chris Dodge to come up and do our introduction of guests. He joined our club in February of 20, classification entertainment music. Chris Dodge Entertainment, U of A grad, and these are our club's incredibly talented Sergeant-at-Arms. Chris.
No, please, hold your applause. Keep eating, but say hello to our guests. We have lots of them, and we are so happy that you were here. Guest of Bruce, stand up when I call your name, too, so we can say hello to you. Guest of Bruce Jacobs, say hello to Adam Bagodi. Hi, Adam. And guest of Waukee. You have a bunch of them, but I'm going to name them all. Here we go. Rafael Barcelo Dorazo. Hi, Rafael. And Glenda Grow. Hi, Glenda. Lee Wong Medina. Hi, Lee. Mary Okoye. Hi, Mary. And Marisol Vindiola. Hi, Marisol. And that's it of Waukee's guest. That's enough. And guest of Vicki Jacobs. Let's see if she outdid Waukee. I don't know. Say hello to Nancy Farber. Hi, Nancy. And Howard Stewart. Hi, Howard Stewart. No, you only have 2 today. Vicki, you're underperforming. Guest of Jim Lubinsky. Say hello to Jason Flax. Hey, Jason. I'll talk to you after the show, Jason. Guest of Cindy Barbie. Say hello to Moises Gomez. Hi, Moises. Guest of Joe. Say hello to Amy Hernandez. Hi, Amy. Guest of Hugh Thompson. Say hello to Tom Hicks. Hi, Tom. And Keith Likes. Hi, Keith. And guest of Wes Wiggins. Say hello to Sandra Johnson. Hi, Sandra. And Ray Smith. Oh, wait, Ray's not here. I didn't follow my directions, sorry. Guest of John Wong, say hello to Rick Lindsay. Hey, Rick. And Chip Travers. Hey, Chip. And guest of Sharon Felton and Roger Harwell, a scholar student. Say hello to Elisa Navarro. Hi, Elisa. And my guest, say hello to Cheetah Stevenson. She's right there. And guest of Steve Pickering. Sorry, Steve. Say hello to Cyrus Cameron. Hi, Cyrus. And Paul Tees. Hi, Paul. And guest of Daryl Stewart. Say hello to BJ Bajelland. Hey, BJ. And guest of Rick Rose. Say hello to Danny McPadden. Hey, Danny. Guest of Rich Kinney. Say hello to Dwayne Graves. Hey, Dwayne. You're lucky you get to sit at the loud table. You had no idea that you were going to. Yeah, that's a bonus. Guest to Bob Logan. Say hello to Matthew Gaspari. Hi, Matthew. And guest of Fletcher McCusker, Dan Myers, who's sitting right there. Say hi, Dan. And guest of Chuck Sawyer. Say hello to Bruce Ayers. Hey, Bruce. That's all I got.
So we had planned to have our pal Fletcher McCusker, who's an honorary member of our club, make some remarks today. We would not be here today at the TCC if it weren't for Rio Nuevo's help. You look at some of the things that have happened downtown, and they're behind all of it. I can now say they are behind all of that because I stepped away about a month ago from my duties as a vice chair after 12 years. I always hate when I walk into a room and I'm not expected to say something and somebody says, hey, guess what? You're up. So Fletcher had planned to make some remarks today as our sponsor. Brandy, this banner is for you guys to take back to the office. And Dan, since we put you on the spot as Rio Nuevo's CEO, we'd love to hear what you have to say for a couple of minutes. And thank you so much for the sponsorship and help in bringing us downtown.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough thing for me because either Mark Irvin, which you all know very well, is one of our great speakers, and of course Fletcher. But so I'm the CFO at Rio Nuevo. I've been involved for about 9 years now, and it's just been amazing the progress that's gone on through downtown and up the east side of Tucson. You guys have been driving down Broadway. You can see the fiasco that's been going on there for 2 years. I think 3 more months, that's supposed to be done, and then we'll be really kicking off the Sunshine Mile. That's going to be an incredible stretch of Tucson here when it's done from Euclid to Country Club. You know, we're very excited of what's going on down here at the TCC. The meeting rooms turned out beautiful, and all the Expo Plaza is terrific, so I don't think it's ever looked this good. It's going to be such a great upgrade, and we're going to be bringing a lot of really cool things to Tucson. It's booming, and we got through the pandemic in one piece. It was a little dicey a few times. I'm sure many of us in this room have felt that way, but here we are, April 2022, and ready to rock. So enjoy the lunch, enjoy the TCC, and enjoy Tucson. Thank you.
If you don't think being the CFO at Rio Nuevo is not a tough job with the likes of Fletcher McCusker, and thank God I'm gone, and Chris Sheaf and others driving you crazy, you've got another thing coming. We're really lucky to have you, Dan, for what you've done. So now it's time for our program, and if you would turn your attention to the big screen, we're going to see an introduction by our pals Rick Rose at Film Creations and Matt Russell at Russell Public Media.
Michael Guyman's 25-year professional career has primarily centered on political strategy, business development, advocacy, and organizational management. Michael holds a bachelor's degree in political science from the University of Arizona. As the recently appointed president and CEO of the Tucson Metro Chamber, Michael is responsible for developing and implementing the Chamber's goals and visions in order to fulfill its mission of being a champion for business and creating an environment where business and our community can thrive and prosper. Michael's previous positions include Vice President of Regional Partnerships for Sun Corridor, Inc., Executive Director of the Metropolitan Pima Alliance, Chief of Staff to Tucson City Council member Fred Ronstadt, Assistant Vice President for Governmental Affairs for the Tucson Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce, and Political Consultant to the Bridges, a 360-acre mixed-use infill development that will include Tech Parks, Arizona, Geico's regional headquarters, housing, and a 111-acre commercial development. On a personal note, Michael's passion is baseball, and he was named the official scorer for the Tucson Padres AAA Baseball Club from 2011 to 2013. Unfortunately, the team moved to El Paso in 2014. Let's have a rousing Rotary welcome for Michael Guyman, President and CEO of the Tucson Metro Chamber.
Wow. That was fantastic. Thank you all very much. I can stand here proud to say that I got a much better applause and appreciation than Chris Rock did at the Oscars. So here, thank you. Of course, if I make any bad jokes, someone's liable to slap me, so I'll be good. Thank you guys so much. It is such an honor to be in this room. I am in a room with, I believe Mark told me, the 35th largest Rotary in the United States, something to be extremely proud of. And also, on a personal note, a room filled with a lot of great friends that I've made over the years here in Tucson. So thank you again for inviting me, and I hope you really enjoy what I have to say and what I'm hopefully going to deliver for the Tucson Metro Chamber. So we will go to the next. What is the Chamber? Well, we like to talk about that we are the 3 C's. We are a connector, we are a champion, and we are a catalyst. We are a connector in the sense that we connect businesses to businesses. We connect businesses to leaders and influencers. We are a champion in the sense that we are the advocate for the business community, and we champion the efforts and the policies that promote business growth and success in our region. And we are a catalyst in the sense that we are developing new initiatives related to workforce development that we hope, and our goal is to make sure that we have a much better pipeline, workforce development pipeline and talent pipeline here in our region through our initiatives. And I'll get more into that later. But if I could just sum it up, we are the voice of business. The Tucson Metro Chamber is the voice of business in our region. And we are proud to be that voice, and we are proud to work with so many partners to carry forth the policies that are important to business growth and success throughout our region. So some fun facts about us. We are 125 years old. Believe it or not, it was October 31st, so Halloween. I don't know if they celebrated Halloween much in 1896, but on Halloween of 1896, the Chamber was formed, but it was formed as the Tucson Grocers Association. So I guess it would be interesting, and we actually have the original document in our office signed by Hugo Dono, who was the first president of the Tucson Grocers Association. The paper is we have to put on gloves to handle this stuff. But that's how we got our start. In the 20s, that's when we were changed to the Tucson Chamber of Commerce, and then in the 40s, it became the Tucson Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce, really covering the region. But in the 20s, we also created the Sunshine Climate Club to help attract businesses to Tucson. Of course, today that's handled by Sun Corridor Inc., an organization I worked for, and they are doing a fantastic job in that. And then our oldest committee, the Military Affairs Committee, is 94 years young. It started really to help encourage the development of what was then the Davis-Monthan Field, which of course then blossomed into Davis-Monthan Air Force Base as we all know and love it today. So here are the initiatives. I'm going to go through these in various slides. Blueprint, post-COVID commerce, proactive policy, business summit, and midterm elections. So we'll start with workforce development. So as I talked about, we developed over the last couple years and launched last summer the Workforce Blueprint. This is a series of 5 recommendations that help really guide our efforts in workforce development. 5 years ago, workforce development wasn't even in the Chamber's vocabulary. We knew it was important. We knew that there were others kind of in that ecosystem building workforce development programs, but it really wasn't on the Chamber's radar until about 4 years ago. And I helped lead the efforts to create what ultimately became our Workforce Blueprint and those 5 recommendations. I know that education is absolutely critical and important to Rotary. It is in everyone's blood in this room. We all know the importance of education. We also value that because we know that the better educated community that we have, the better pipeline for future talent our companies will ultimately be able to employ. And I do this to Howard every single time he's in the room. But AGM container control is just a class act and a best practice in what companies can do to further workforce development. It's all about internships. It's about, Howard does a lot of work in tuition reimbursement. There are a lot of companies in this community that do tuition reimbursement. Those things are critical to make sure that we develop the right kind of skills in our region. And so we developed this blueprint and the 5 recommendations. And I'll just kind of tell you a story. One of the recommendations relates to our career literacy program. We are currently working in the Sunnyside School District with Superintendent Steve Holmes and the Center for the Future of Arizona to bring employers into the classroom, employers specifically in the Sunnyside School District into the classroom, so that those students can better know and understand the opportunities that exist right down the road. And Center for the Future of Arizona has career pathway initiatives where if you want a certain position, it gives you the pathway of what that looks like going from middle school all the way up to whether it's a certification or a degree, those types of things, so that it demonstrates to the students exactly what they need to do to be on that path. And so we're very excited to work on this program. I'll just also point out the Move It Up initiative. We know that companies from Banner to Raytheon to accountants to Howard, everyone needs IT talent. And so we actually have partnered with Verizon, and we're going to transform one of the spaces in our current building into an IT training facility. And we're working with JobPath, working with Pima Community College, working with the University of Arizona, working with a great program called the AZ Cyber Initiative to bring those students into our space so that we can help further develop IT talent. So these are the types of things that we are working on, again, knowing that the better we develop the talent within our region, the better off our employers are going to have finding the right kind of people within our own region. We do know that, as the fourth one indicates, we will still need to attract talent. Raytheon will never be able to find all of the engineers that they need in our region. They're always having to attract that talent from elsewhere. So we also need to make sure that we have a great front page of what Tucson is all about when those potential employees are looking at Tucson, so that we can tell our story better and encourage more of that talent to come here to Tucson. So, post-COVID commerce. Well, COVID was fun, right? So one of the issues that we certainly initially saw when the shutdown occurred was how it affected the restaurant and the hospitality industry. So we actually formed the Tucson Restaurant Advisory Council to assist restaurants specifically through a variety of means, whether it was promoting restaurants, promoting the industry, doing the kind of things from a marketing perspective so that people were still going to the restaurants, doing takeout. We remember all of this. But this was an initiative that we put forward, and we are going to continue to do that because we are living in somewhat of a new world, new economy, and things are happening differently. Obviously, remote working never really existed prior to COVID, and so we are looking to continue to assist companies to develop those strategies in a post-COVID world. And so there are some exciting initiatives that we are moving forward with that. From the public policy front, so I talked a little bit about our restaurant effort. We still have our Tucson Restaurant Advisory Council that's still working with us on policies that will help promote and further develop the restaurant industry. We saw that really as a void. And Rob LeMaster is in the room, so I'll call him out too. Rob used to be the Southern Arizona director for the Arizona Restaurant Association, but Arizona Restaurant Association doesn't really have an existence like it did 6-7 years ago, and so we are filling that void, bringing the restaurants together to work on those specific policy matters. But one of the initiatives that I also moved forward with was earlier this year in January was the establishment of our Coalition Against Retail Theft. A lot of members were coming to me saying, boy, we are seeing a dramatic uptick in smash and grabs, in property damage, lots of bad things happening out there. And so we pulled together our members, and we're meeting with the Sheriff's Department, we're meeting with Tucson Police Department, we're meeting with the County Attorney's Office, ultimately to develop policies and strategies that will help solve or at least curb the retail theft activities. We've had 2 really productive meetings so far, and my new Director of Government Affairs is leading this effort, and she's very excited about finding the policies. Quite frankly, I think it's going to ultimately be going to the county, going to the city, and I know Supervisor Christie very much agrees with this, putting more money and resources into our public safety efforts. That is definitely going to be a major recommendation coming out of this. And our hope is to really build up those budgets so that we can put more officers on the streets. Proposition 411 is coming up. We do support that election on May 17th. You know, this is a piece of the puzzle. The last item up there, the RTA reauthorization, again, absolutely critical to our region. We need the city, the county, the other jurisdictions to step up, because the shortfall for our transportation system is massive. And even with Prop 411, even with the reauthorization of the RTA, it's still not enough to meet some of the goals and objectives that we have as it relates to transportation. So we support Prop 411 for that very purpose, because it is bringing more money, or continuing money, because we already have a half-cent sales tax for transportation, continuing the investment in the streets and roads, because we feel it is very important, especially as it relates to economic development and our ability to attract more companies. We are also, and this kind of relates to the work that I was talking about earlier on our post-COVID-19 efforts. So we are putting on a business summit on May 12th. This summit is going to be basically a half-day conference. We're going to start with a keynote speaker. Actually, I'm speaking with her later today. And the rest of the afternoon is going to be right here at the convention center. The rest of the afternoon, Rio Nuevo is one of the sponsors. Thank you, Mark. The rest of the afternoon is going to be filled with a lot of different breakout sessions, like you would at a conference. You get to pick and choose the different breakout sessions. And those are going to be specific instructive areas: how to better market, how to better do your finances, access to venture capital, all the things that businesses have recently come to us and say, you know what, we need to learn how to do this a little bit differently. Please help us. We are putting on this summit so that we, in one day, can bring in a lot of different voices to help instruct those businesses on how to become more successful. So we're very excited to put this on. As it says there, this is a partnership with the Arizona Commerce Authority, who, over the last 2 years, have done over 200 boot camp sessions. Many Tucsonans don't know about them, and so we want to actually bring some of those boot camp sessions down to Tucson, and so that's and they had a great success with those, so we want to build on that success. So we're partnering with the ACA on that, as well as the the Small Business Development Center and SCORE, who also lend a lot of credibility and a lot of specific business assistance that they can bring to the table at this event. This year, as many of you know, is a midterm election. Last year was the first year that the Chamber did not endorse candidates. What we did was we interviewed the candidates, and we posted those interviews on our website so that people, our members, or the general community could pull those interviews up and make the decisions on their own. We are going to do that similarly this year. So we will be interviewing all of the representatives running within this region, interviewing them, putting those interviews up on our website. But we are also, after the primary, we're going to be partnering with all the other chambers in the region to put on a forum for the candidates running for governor, as well as the candidates running for U.S. Senate. So we're looking forward to that event and bringing that information to our folks here in Southern Arizona. And obviously, when we do those things, our questions are very specific to what they will do and what things that they support specifically related to the business community. It's very business focused. Want to make sure I'm not skipping anything here. Yep. Okay. So I will leave you with two things. The first is we cannot do this alone. Collaboration is absolutely paramount to make sure that we accomplish not only our goals, but the goals of the entire business community. We have two partners up there, Sun Corridor, as well as the Southern Arizona Leadership Council. I could also list MPA, SABA, the Arizona Builders Alliance. There are many partners that we work very collaboratively with to develop the policies and develop the right kind of initiatives and recommendations to help move the business community into a much better place in our region. So I kind of summarize it to say, and I'll just point out Sun Corridor. Sun Corridor brings the companies through the front door. The chamber is there to make sure that they don't go out the back door. A lot of what we do as the voice of business is to make sure that we, the chamber, do everything that we can to retain business in our community. Retention is critical, and all these things, whether it's public policy or workforce development, all of these things lend to making sure that businesses can grow and thrive and stay here in Tucson. The second thing I will leave you with, and this is a more sycophantic thing, I will admit, the Tucson Metro Chamber will become a corporate member of the Rotary Club of Tucson. So, thank you very much. Absolute, again, pleasure to speak with you, and I would be happy, I believe that typically questions are asked. Yes. Very good. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a first question right here.
Michael, attracting talent has been a big issue here in Tucson for a number of years. I know in the last, I'm going to say handful of years, as we've done a much better job on that. But what's the chamber doing specifically on trying to, attract that talent in? Obviously, we grow it locally as well.
So, thank you for that, Bruce. So, that area of the 5 recommendations that I listed there. So, whether it's making sure that we're matching the supply with the demand, what is coming out of the Pima Community College, the University of Arizona, other trade schools, making sure that supply matches the demand that's needed in the market. That's number one. And creating these innovative education and industry partnerships is number one. Obviously, IT, career literacy, awarding businesses that, again, provide the best practice examples for internships. All of that is things that we are going to be leading on. Talent attraction is more of something that we are going to be a partner in, because we know organizations like Startup Tucson, who had a very successful Remote Tucson campaign where they attracted remote workers who knew that their job was going to be 100% remote from this day forward, so they can live anywhere. And so they had a great campaign. They brought 10 new individuals to Tucson who now live here full time. Their next cohort, I believe, is going to be 20. So that's one example. The others is really just working with a lot of our partners, such as Raytheon, a lot of our large employers, again, who are always looking to attract talent. And actually, the other partner I would mention, again, is Sun Corridor, because they also built the Thrive in Tucson website that is really that front door portal where folks can go to and really learn more about what living is like here in Tucson, how to live, work, and play and learn here in Tucson. So we're a partner in all of these efforts. And so there are things as we move forward with some of these initiatives that we'll be able to lend, but we are going to be a partner of a multi-partner talent attraction strategy.
Got a question with Dan over there.
Yes.
2 questions. One, did your chamber and all the other chambers, conferences, or committees have any influence on paying people not to work? Number one, because I understand there's so many things you can't get done now because people got paid not to work. And number two, what's your connection with JTED?
Thank you. So if I understand the first question right, paying people not to work?
Yes.
Did we have anything to do with paying people not? Oh. Yes. That was definitely, it's interesting because we actually, during Pima County, put together, basically a proclamation during the summer of 2020. And we were there to help negotiate some of the aspects of it and really pare down some of the what we thought were draconian and devastating aspects toward business. And part of that was, making sure that, we advocate to get people back to work. And, and we did have a big problem with some of the federal programs and the state programs that allowed that to happen. So yes, we were vocal about that. As it relates to JTED, I am on the Business Industry Council for JTED. I'm a very proud member of JTED. Again, I know because of the work of the Rotary Club of Tucson did in terms of raising money for JTED and continues to raise money for JTED. They are a massive piece to that puzzle. I talk about making sure that we have the right kind of pipeline. It was one of those things where, 20 years ago, certainly, my generation, it was college is the goal and really nothing else, right? I mean, you've got to go to college. You got to get a degree. Those days are, in my hope, kind of gone, where you're now saying, okay, if college is what you want because you want a certain job because that requires a bachelor's degree at the minimum, then great, that's for you. But if your passion is in a trade, if your passion is in something that, you just need a certificate for or an accreditation or other things that JTED and Pima Community College offer, then we want to make sure that you go down that road as well. And that's a lot of what we do in this career literacy work with the Center for the Future of Arizona. But JTED, we can't support that more. I mean, they are just absolutely critical to the future workforce. And they're a model. I mean, not too many communities have the type of JTED or CTED, as they now like to call it, that we do. So we should be very proud in Tucson, and we can stand up and say, we understand that there are various paths, and JTED is not only an important component of that, but a leader in that area.
One more quick question from Judy over here.
I hope it's I hope it's quick. I was glad to hear you start out with your number one list on the list being support for education and workforce development. Given that, and given the relationship you have with Sunnyside already, I wanted to link that a little bit to the political sphere and what our state legislature does, and ask you whether or not support for our local public school districts will be one of the lenses that you look at in terms of support for your advocacy with our state legislature.
So we have 3 pillars on our website. We've always had a state government or a state legislative agenda. We've had that for a number of years. Last year, for the first time, we created a local government agenda. But I'll go back to the state. There are 3 pillars in that state legislative agenda. And you can go to the website now and see them. And those pillars are infrastructure, economic development, and education. And the reason education is in there is exactly, it relates to everything that I just spoke about as it relates to workforce development. Now, I'm not going to say that money solves all problems, because money does not solve all problems. Obviously, there are, there are structural issues that we need to work out, but there is no question that, from a comparative standpoint, we're lower on that list in terms of per pupil funding. So we would like to see more investment in education. But we also need to make sure that the JTEDs are talking to the school districts, and the school districts are talking to, there's a lot of choice out there. There's charter, there's private. We also, from a structural standpoint, need to make sure that everyone is moving in the same direction. And again, our role in all of this, if someone were to ask me, what is your true role in workforce development, knowing that there are all these, there's One Stop, there's JTED, there's community college, our role is to bring employers to the table. Encouraging employers to be a part of the process. That doesn't really take a whole lot of money, but it's important because those employers can come in and talk to the school districts, talk to JTED, talk to these various educational leaders, and make sure that at the end of the day, what industry needs is what's occurring in terms of curriculum at the K-12 level and the post-secondary education level. So yes, funding is important, but so are making sure that everyone is talking to one another and we're all moving in the same direction.
Wow. So, as somebody who is, like many of you, a member of the Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce, and I also had the privilege of serving on the board for a number of years, I can tell you this is a great hire. I'm really excited to see Michael there. You surprised me today with this. I'm going to join corporately because we've been in these discussions for a while. I would tell you this is somebody that's a big champion for workforce development, understands what we've done with JTED, understands how it all links together, and we're going to find some ways to work with the chamber even more closely, and that'll definitely happen now that you're going to become a member, so that's just really great. So I'm always amazed at what Karina and Carrie are able to do with finding a book that's just so topical, and today's book that Michael's going to sign is What Can I Be? STEM Careers from A to Z. So that's what's going to go into the Make Way for Books library as we start to continue work on children's literacy issues. So guess what? We got a birthday. It's our pal Dot, the famous poem writer. She was born on March 21st. She joined our club in April of 2003, classification Community and Social Services, Vocational Rehabilitation. I think you know she owns DK Associates, and she's a U of A grad. So what don't you know about Dot? Check this out. She won the Lucky Food Store Scholarship Competition in high school. How about that? Did you know that she joined our club after weighing it against the Optimist Club? But she chose Rotary because she loved what we were doing with Polio Plus, and she also just enjoyed meeting all of us. And then, you know why she stays? Guess what? She likes all of you guys and the programs and the friends she's made. And what's she going to do to make it better? She's going to take the food court at the car show and knock it out of the park. Dot, come talk to us.
I know. Yes, I am standing. I want to start by thanking you all and Mark for... I'm tall, take a picture. Taller. I want to thank you all for your thoughts and support of Ukraine. My ancestors on my father's side escaped from there and came in through Ellis Island, so Kret is an Ellis Island abbreviation. Was Kretovsky in Old Country. So thank you, and my contribution is going to be to the Ukraine Fund. So, yeah. Okay. Yo! Right, you remembered. Yay. Yo! Hey! I had a birthday. 'Twas March 21st, but we're celebrating today. Oi! Vey! Getting older, but it's okay. My hair's now 50 shades of gray. I say happy, you say birthday. Happy. Birthday. Happy. Birthday. All right. I got to thank my sponsor, Ron the Oxman. He introduced me to the club, and I became a fan. And I can't forget my mentor, Gib the Rayman, helped me learn the rules, and then the fun began. I met a lot of folks, made a lot of new friends. I get a lot of hugs from the women and the men. Fellowship starts here, and then it extends to home and work. I hope it never ends. I say fellowship, you say starts here. Fellowship. Starts here. Fellowship. Starts here. All right. people get jobs through my company, DKA. Rotarians have helped out in quite a few different ways. You've interviewed our folks and told them what to say. You've given scholarships to TRVFA. Oops, there we go. Through our store, Pack Mail, your packages we ship, furniture and freight, the eBay stuff you flip. We build crates and boxes and bubble wrap we rip. Country Club and Broadway, it's well worth the trip. Some days. We can scan your photos, your negatives, and your slides. Digitize that video of you guys and your brides. We can save your paperwork onto a flash drive, saving the environment and training people besides. So thank you all for your support through these pandemic years. Economic insecurity sure played into my fears, but thanks for your business, your laughter, and your cheer. We've weathered that storm, and we're still here. Thank you. So, my friends of Rotary, I wish you all good cheer. Best wishes to your family, your friends, and your career. And for my hope this birthday, let me be perfectly clear. I wish you all a fabulous new year. I say fabulous, and you say new year. Fabulous. New year. Fabulous. New year. All right. Thank you.
You guys may remember when I wanted everybody to let us know how they got to the TCC. I got from Dot not just a poem, but I got all kinds of great photographs on her route and what she saw in the whole 9 yards. It was great. Dot, you're always a blast. Thank you. History moment. Where is our pal, Dr. Wong? John, come up and give us a history moment, if you would, please. The fine Dr. Wong. Yeah, if you have a giddy up in your git, it wasn't because John did it.
And Mark should know because he was one of my victims. Okay, well, repetition is the mother of retention. Who's that? All right. And what did he do? What year? Pretty weak out there. 1905. And where was that? Where did he start it? Okay. Remember, that was a city at that time of contrast, good, bad, ugly, mean, and unfriendly. And he was looking for the kind of camaraderie that he had experienced as a young man growing up in a small town in Vermont. So he got 4 colleagues together. Next, please. In 1905, and they formed this club. There were 4 there, and they agreed to form a club for, can you read that? Yeah. Yep. For the purpose of friendship and mutual business cooperation. And they decided they would invite 1 member from each profession, line of business, and only men. Well, that was long ago. But only men, should we say, only people whose integrity could be vouched for by other members. So they decided to meet on a regular basis, and they would rotate from one place to another. That's where the name came from. Anyway, next slide, please. I can't see that. Can you all see that? Yeah. All right, so they had 4 members. The 6th member was Donald Carter, who was a patent lawyer. And he's the one that brought it to their attention that this club is not going to last unless we do something for other people. Next. And so that is when the 3rd principle of Rotary was incorporated. Go. Next. We must perform civic service. Next. The first project they did was to place a urinal on one of the main streets in Chicago. But that was community service. Next. And then, of course, we've developed this mantra, service above self. Next. And that's what we do. Thank you.
Don't you love the restroom thing? John Duvall and I have a restroom named after us at the American Red Cross building on Broadway. If you have an interest in going and seeing that, it's pretty funny. March Madness. So this has been a lot of fun, hence the reason I'm in red today. So I want to bring up Chuck Sawyer, who joined our club in December of '04, classification retailing. Recycled office supplies. He owns Cartridge World, my company that I buy from. He's a graduate of the University of Oregon, and he also, get this, Thunderbird Graduate School of International Management. And he was our 97th president during 18 and 19, and the toughest job that he had was being my mentor. Chuck.
Thank you, President Mark. So, hey, it was a great week this last week. We got together. We had 2 mixers in this meeting today, and between the 3 of those, we've had over 70 guests, potential members come in and just see us. And that's the goal, is to get people to come in and see what we're about, see what Rotary's about. I mean, that's a third of the size of the club overall. But we'll have the final numbers and the final decisions, which will come down to next week. So next week on the 13th, we'll announce the winners. We have Vic Jacobs right here, who happens to have some of her guests with these balloons around the room. You can see she's filled the room with in her team with a whole lot of folks. And against Curtis Dawson. So that'll be next week that we'll crown the winner of that. Speaking on behalf of the commissioners, I want to thank all the members that have brought in guests. I want to thank the guests here for being here. I want to thank our newest corporate member as well, Michael, which is great. But we hope you see something you like here in Rotary and you come back and you want to be a member. But in that, we do have a couple numbers that are interesting. One that plays to something we just heard about is that, Rotary started out as an all-men's club. And in our strategic plan, we have ways that we want to grow, and we want to continue to grow, not just to grow because we can do more good in the community by growth. And in that, one of the goals and one of Mark's goals is bring more women in, and I can say to you, as of today, we've passed 30%. 30% of the club, for the first time ever, are now women. And I know it's going north of there because the women get a lot of stuff done. We don't get that much. They get lots of stuff done. So it's good. The second thing I'd like to say is that on the younger side, members that are 40 and lower, we're up to 16%. So love that. Absolutely. Get in the younger members as well. So it's terrific. So we've got a lot of good things that are going on. Thank you all for working and being a part of March Madness. One last thought. If you were looking to invite somebody to come to one of the meetings and couldn't get them here, the calendar just didn't work out, in 2 weeks, we have Dr. Robbins, president of the U of A, here speaking. He was going to be part of the rotation during March Madness. If you want to invite them to come to the club will still cover you and still get that as well. So let's have a great turnout for Dr. Robbins as well, and a last chance to bring folks in. Your applications and all your paperwork and stuff for the members needs to be into Dorena by 2 o'clock on Friday to wrap up the numbers for March Madness. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Chuck, thank you. I got to tell you, we had 3 things we wanted to focus on with membership. We obviously want to look at people that are in 85701 because it's low-hanging fruit. But more importantly, we want to say, let's increase the number of women. So we went from 28 to 30%, all-time high. Hopefully it'll continue to grow, Brandy. The second thing we wanted to do is we wanted to lower the average age of the club, and I'm tickled to see that's happening as well. And then finally, we wanted to see a club that was more reflective of our community's demographics, and that's happening as well. So for everybody that's working on that, thank you. Chris Dodge, I think you got a raffle?
I do. And I'm going to have Dot pick the winning card and the winning ticket today. So here you go, Dot. Pick a card, but don't look at it. All right, Bobby Larson. While she's picking a card, you have 20 seconds to be brief and brilliant. Go.
Picture me right now. I am Dave White. So this is Dave White. All right. We've got this weekend a Saba show. The first shift on Friday, we need 1 worker. The first shift on Sunday, we need 2 people selling tickets. And the second shift on Sunday, we need 1 other person. So give Dave White a call. Look it up on Club Runner, and we'll be very appreciative, and it'll be the last one you see until the end of the summer. All right? So thanks a lot, everybody. Get out there and sell.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it. All right, I have the winning card and the winning number here, and I forgot to mention one visitor that we have here with us, all the way from Vancouver, Canada. Say hello to Dana Jansen. Where are you, Dana? There you are, Dana. Thank you for being here. And in honor of you, the winnings today will be given out in loonies and toonies. I love Canada. 583213 is the winner. And if no one wins, it's Mary Davis's because she had to leave, and it goes back to the club. 583213. I can't believe it. She might. No, we have a winner right there. I've got $38 in my pocket, or 37, but you don't win the big pot because that's the 7 hearts that she just drew. So I'm going to give that to Dot. There you go.
Happy birthday, Don.
Yeah, happy birthday. All right, back to you, Prez.
Okay, so we got a couple of announcements we'll power through real quickly. The first one up is the fly fishing fun. I know you're all curious to know who is going to make it on the Wall of Fame. You only got 9 chances left. There's all the people that are currently on there. And our winner is Wayne Wood. Where is Wayne? Do we not have a Wayne Wood up there? Oh, no. Where is that? There we go. Check this grandson out. Now, is that not just like one of the best pictures you've ever seen of a handsome young fisherman in training? There's all the details on. I won't go into it, but I just wanted to say to Dana and Wayne, thanks for sharing that great photo. And also thanks for your contribution to the fund, which is going to make its way over to our project we're going to do at the Boys and Girls Club. Next up, the time capsule. I just want to remind everybody that that's going to be on the 21st of this month. I want to thank John McCaleb and my buddy John Duvall as well for helping us figure out how we're going to do this. We're going to be moving a rather large rock. We're going to be putting the time capsule underneath it. And I think right now we're up to 52 different things that are going in there. And Doreena's got the list. We'll share it with you. We've shared it a handful of times, but we're getting really, really close to doing that, and I'm tickled about that. Next, I talked about the Boys and Girls Club project. I hope I was going to have a date for you today for when that's going to be. It's going to be on a Saturday. I'm hoping it's going to be the last Saturday of this month, but I'm waiting for our contractor to give me the go-ahead on that. So stay tuned on that, but that'll be a great project that'll finish out the deck multi-purpose ring at Doolin Middle School Boys and Girls Club campus. Next up, we've got a member, Conrad Plimpton, who lives at basically River and Craycroft. He is struggling getting to meetings. He'd love to get to these meetings. I don't know if anybody is coming that way, even if you can give him a ride once a month. I think I've talked to Mr. Pickering about this. I know I've talked to Mr. Lovett about it, and hopefully others. But if you can help Conrad out with a ride, he would really, really appreciate it. Chris, back to you on the Triangle Y.
Oh my gosh, this is like my favorite day of the year, every year. And you need to sign up for it. It's Triangle Y Ranch. It's beautiful up there. If you like the outdoors, go. And if you don't, you should go and just learn how to love the outdoors. And there's all sorts of work, and we help out the Triangle Y. And it's been a couple of years since we've been there, so we probably need to do some more work. And I don't want it to just be Curtis and I being there. So please sign up and there's all sorts of different and Jen's on there too. Fantastic. All right. And Chuck's on there too. All right. Let's. Oh my gosh, I see more hands going up. More people, the better. And they make great food for us and lunch. And Bob's coming because he heard there's free lunch.
Yeah.
So thank you. We're good to go.
Good.
Please sign up. It's on the, you guys know how to sign up for stuff. So please, thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Next up, President-elect Mr. Jacobs. I think you've got a little announcement that you're going to share on home hospitality. They're not going to give you a microphone? No microphone. What'd you do to Chris?
I'll bring it to him. All right.
So, home hospitality, we've got the last week of the year. Is for those of you that aren't familiar, what we're asking for is we're asking for homes that might be willing to host it. You set the number on how many people you want to have. It could be, 8, 10, 12, 14 people. There is a budget for it, so if you have interest, just let us know and we'll tell you what the budget is. But we need to get ideally like 8 to 10 host homes. So again, if you have interest, please let me know.
Bruce, thank you. So here's a fun part. All this March Madness stuff, we actually get a chance to introduce a new member. So I'm going to ask Bruce Tunson to come up and do that. Bruce?
Thank you, President Mark. We're actually doing a Blue Badge presentation today for Dina Marie Kern. It is Marie, right? Yes. Her name tag says Dean Marie Kern, but it is actually Dina Marie Kern. Dina grew up she was born in Los Angeles, raised in Santa Barbara County, California, beautiful place. And my favorite mentee is always a former Rotarian. Well, she's even better than that. She's a former club president. So really easy job for me because she knows more about Rotary than I do. But the Rotary Club of Lompoc, California, she was a past president there. And in California, she spent 20 years working with the Boys and Girls Club of Lompoc before she self-retired. I'm not sure what self-retired means, but it's a long story. Okay. And went into real estate in 2017, moved here in 2020, and is now with Remax Select Tucson here in Tucson. So if you need an agent, she's a good one. Dina, come on up. There you go. Would you like to say anything?
Oh, just thank you, everyone. I really love being a part of this club, and I'm looking forward to doing some volunteer work with y'all. Thank you.
Yes, in case you're wondering, I've already had a discussion with her about Boys and Girls Club. So, does anybody know what's going to happen in 86 days? Thank you, thank you. And in that vein, we have the famous countdown clock that's kind of popped up. And I guess, Mr. Jacobs, I'm sure you've got something to say about what you're going to be doing in 86 days. What can you say? This is your
Mark,
chance.
You've been working this lame duck thing for 280 days. So if you're ready to give it up, I mean, I'm ready to take over right now. So we could speed the clock up.
I tell you what, you can come up here right now, my friend.
Okay.
Just bring it on up here, man. Yeah. So I tell you, that's the one thing fun. I say this about harassing people, and Bruce and I have told him every month, once a month, at the first meeting of the month, we're going to talk about what his plans are. And everybody's like, why are you doing that? And I said, well, because I can and because I like to harass Bruce and also gets him thinking about, what's coming up. But Bruce knows it's all done in good cheer, so thank you for that. Okay, so closing out. So I just want to say whether you joined us in person or you just were lazy and you joined us virtually, that's okay. Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the meeting. If you like what you saw, feel free to reach out to any of the Rotarians. They can tell you all about what this is. If you are a Rotarian, do me a favor. Put your badge back in the correct slot so I don't get in trouble. And if you have not gotten your pin yet, we've been through this many times. They're free. Ask yourself why. Doreen and Carrie have them in the back. Dot, happy birthday. Dina, congratulations on your blue badge. Rio Nuevo, thank you for all you've done to help us come downtown, back to our home. We wouldn't be here without your help, as you guys know. So next week we have a change of plans. We had planned to have the mariachis here. They're doing some school testing, so we got thrown a really fun curve at the 11th hour. Because we have this amazing Sergeant-at-Arms that knows tunes, and he knows that we want to have so many music programs, he's been able to grab a really great gal, Heather Hardy, who's a world-class plays a violin. Sorry, my mouth's not working today, violinist.
Great.
And she's also a blues artist, and she's going to have a duo. Chris, do we know who the duo is?
Oh, that'll be to be determined.
To be determined. So
Yeah.
you'll find out about that about the same time we do. Okay, so I guess it's that time for the toast. We are fortunate to have the Chamber of Commerce, whose mission today closely aligns with our own and JTED, namely workforce development. Here's to Michael and the Chamber. We're honored to have you amongst us and toast your ongoing success and the opportunity to work together in the future. I was going to say you would make a great Rotarian, but you already did that for me. Please be safe. We are adjourned.